Hey guys, welcome back to Mysteries. Cannibalism has been an anomaly throughout history. Researchers are now saying that cannibalism has existed in the United States.
The remains of 7 people littered the floor of the dusty home, victims of an unimaginable slaughter. They had been scalped, their skulls roasted, cracked open like nuts, and the contents eaten. The rib cages were torn open, their cracked bones boiled, and the fat extracted. The tongue of one victim was cut out and the flesh stripped from the bones and apparently eaten. That's how Christy Turner reads the 800-year-old evidence amid the ruins of an Anasazi Pueblo along the Puerco River near the Arizona-New Mexico border. It has been more than 30 years since he first came upon the remains that he believes contain evidence the deceased were cannibalized. Turner's controversial conclusions have shaken long-held perceptions of the culture that blossomed in the Chaco Canyon area of northwest New Mexico in about 900 AD and spread in the next 250 years across a vast region encompassing the Four Corners area of the Southwest. The basket-making culture was known for its system of enormous buildings, known as great houses, an elaborate system of roads connecting them, advanced irrigation, astronomical observation, and peaceful ways. Around 1150, for reasons unknown, the culture crumbled. The term Anasazi is a Navajo word meaning ancient enemies, and many of the culture's descendants resent the characterization. Hopis, for example, use the term Hisatsism, meaning the people of long ago. They also object to Turner's conclusions, arguing that the claim of cannibalism is a slanderous stain on their ancestors. Scientists have also criticized the Arizona State University anthropology professor for making broad generalizations without adequate supporting evidence. Turner, a scholar who relishes controversy, takes the criticism in stride. Turner said, "Let's open our eyes and look at the darker side of ourselves, which is the claim of cannibalism among the Anasazi." It is that dark side Turner explores in a new book, Mancorn: Cannibalism and Violence in the Prehistoric American Southwest, published by the University of Utah Press. The 547-page work was co-authored by Turner's late wife Jacqueline, who died of breast cancer in 1996. The Turners hypothesized that cannibalism was brought from Mexico into the Anasazi territory, perhaps by a religious cultist. Cannibalism was common in Mesoamerica, dating back 2,500 years. Turner believes the cultists used it to terrorize and control the Anasazi. There is a history of commerce between the Anasazi and Mexican tribes and some evidence, paintings and the like, indicating that the Anasazi incorporated some of the Southerners' religious traditions. Remains at the Puerco River site are similar to remains of victims of ritual sacrifice in Mexico, Turner says. "We choose to see it as a group of people coming in and taking over in a very gang-like behavior," he said. Cannibalism was their gimmick. This was their weapon. As evidence, Turner points to characteristics of some human remains that are identical to those on the bones of game animals the Anasazi slew for food. For example, the long human bones were broken so the marrow could be removed. There was evidence of roasting on some bones, including the back of skulls, marks on the bone where the flesh was cut from the bone, missing vertebrae, and anvil abrasions created when the bone slips as it is pounded with a stone. Another unique characteristic, discovered by Tim D. White, an anthropologist at UC Berkeley, is pot polishing. That occurs when bones boiled in a clay pot rub along the side of the pot and are buffed smooth. In his book, Turner looked at 76 sites excavated since 1893 where archaeologists have asserted there was violence and possibly cannibalism. Turner said that at 38 of those sites, mostly in a 90-mile radius around the Four Corners area, about 286 people were butchered and eaten. All this adds up to compelling evidence for some, but not for others. "If it's not cannibalism, I don't know how you'd explain it," said Doug Owsley, head of the Physical Anthropology Division at the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. Owsley is compiling a database to assess 1,500 variables on bone pathology in 6,000 to 7,000 Native American skeletons so they can be returned to their tribes and buried. He said he has seen evidence that considerable warfare and even massacres occurred along the border of the Anasazi and Fremont tribes. And in some cases, in the Great Plains in the Southwest, Turner's telltale signs are evidence, Owsley said. It's not trying in any way to cast any aspirations, he said. It's simply trying to look at it objectively and obtain what the reality was.
Did the Anasazi hunt their enemies for food? How long did this go on for? And what other secrets do the Anasazi have? Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next mystery.